Now looking at this picture here, a picture posted on Facebook by I.E. Fletcher on March 30th, 2021. It's a picture of the old St. George's Catholic Boys School, right up there on top of Canash Hill and the road leading to the hospital and the fort, Granada Road. When that school was present there years ago, the St. James Hotel was just nearby, right up there. You walk up the hill there, and right to the left you'll find, back then, the St. James Hotel. I'm looking at those little boys here, and the words of Mr. Arrow Palmer, who later became the Governor General of Grenada, the words come to mind. Uniform, blue shirt, khaki pants, navy blue socks, and black shoes. And uniform was special, and it's still special in Grenada today. I'm looking at those little boys there, and I wonder if I'm one of them. Well, it's very hard to tell, eh? It's very hard to tell. But that school was our skyscraper, a majestic structure on the hill. And Mr. Palmer used to look from on top of the hill there and peep down there to see all the boys who were liming by Franco and Nick's ice cream place. And for that, boy, they put in a line. The prefects used to put in a line and was blows if you came to school late. And before, so our Palmer, it was Mr. J.W. Fletcher, man who ran the school with strict military discipline, circumspect. And they pointed to a road, you know the name of the road? Discipline. And anybody who strayed, there was a belt called the Conqueror that reminded you where that road was. I noticed the policeman is right there looking to see that the children cross the street safely. And the words that I remember also, look left, look right, and look left again before you cross the street. These things stuck in my mind, still in my mind, even after all those years. So yes, Palmer School, St. George's Catholic Boys School. And you see the students there all neatly clad in the uniform. Now, I'm going to talk a little about what we experienced back in those times in a piece that you'll find in my book, Recollections of an Island Man, under the title, I Tell You. Well, children had duties to perform before they took off to school in the morning. We had duties to perform. Many went to tie the goat or clean the pig pen, clear pig mess. I used to clean pig pen, you know. I ain't ashamed to say it. I used to clean pig pen. Others got up to pull water grass for pigs and rabbits, and they had to reach school on time. If you read Mr. M.Z. Mark's book, The Struggle to Construct and Disseminate a Philosophy of Life, he would tell you of all the things he had to do before he went to school in the morning. And he could not be late. Yes, boy, he had it tough back in those days, eh? Now, so they used to pull the water grass to feed pigs and rabbits. I did that. And talking about rabbits, I am convinced that some children used to keep rabbits just to see the rabbits eat. Yeah, you ever saw a rabbit eat? There were children who got up at 5 in the morning because they really believed in the saying, early to bed, the thought was that, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So it was after school back in those times, yes, still learn about Bear and Nancy. And we got a lot of stories from Africa. Yeah? I still reflect on some of them. We used to sit on a mango trees, Copper Hill. So we sit on a mango tree and talk about Compe Zaye and Compe Tig and Bear and Nancy. Taught all this stuff. And we were taught, all that stuff. So after school, to learn about Bear and Nancy. And Mr. Joe who built a house, Mr. Joe built a house for years. They taught us about Mother Hen and about Posey the chick. And later on, a whole lot of Nola's came. Nola on the farm, Nola at work, Nola at play. A few examples. You remember Nola? But you know what? We still managed to pass HSC and GCE. But that HSC, you think that was easy? Anybody who was able to pass HSC, boy, you had to be really bright to pass the HSC. And then came the GCE. And then, of course, later on, CXC. Well, if you were bright and you love letters, you get your GCE. And then back in those times, you get a walk and you're able to buy a BSc. Well, a BSc was a bike. And you might prefer a BA. Or you could just stick with an ABM. That was those who did not have any certificate at all. They got an ABM, able-bodied man. So let me pause here for a little moment to big up some people. You know, I write about our people because I believe in keeping our history alive. We have a tendency to forget those who lived among us and did wonderful things. But I bring them back in my books, the books that I've written. And I'll continue to do so once Papa God gives me the strength and the energy to do so. So I'll pause and big up some people. As the young people these days say, let's big them up. We must always be grateful for those who struggled with us, boy, and sometimes it was a struggle. But yes, they helped make us become what we are today. I used to tell people that we used to play with toy guns. Bow, bow, bow. We had a game called Stick 'em Up. None of us grew up to kill anybody with no gun. But yes, we played with toy guns, busting shots. Now we had a Spanish teacher called Professor McLean. Who remembers Professor McLean? Well, everybody called him Professor. And he went from Palmer School to Hindy School to Backstreet School, where Mr. McBarnett used to teach, Backstreet School, Combined School. And Professor was a good Spanish teacher, boy. He used to teach Spanish, and he was very good at that. And something I remember about him, he used to punctuate his lessons with talk about fried beaks. The man always talk about fried beaks and cocoa. He loved to talk about beaks. God rest his soul. And he even taught us to sing in Spanish when he grew tired of talking about beaks during the Spanish lessons. And some of the songs I sometimes sing for my amigos from Puerto Rico and Santo Domingo when I worked at the American Red Cross in the United States. One of the songs was titled Perfidia. And the words, boy, those words stuck in my head for years, still there. Mujeres y puedes tú con Dios hablar. Pregúntales yo alguna fe de adorar. It stuck in my head. And we sung a lot of Spanish songs, we could have sing, could have really sing. And then I cannot forget Mr. Clary, the Scoutmaster. Why? We looked up upon Mr. Clary for advice and for leadership. Mr. Clary had a son called Don. Who remembers Don? I'm sure Becky and others remember Don. We learned the Scouts motto, something that stuck in my head also. Be prepared, be prepared. Prepared for the expected and the unexpected. Always be prepared. And one thing I can say about Mr. Clary, when the scouts laughed at my shirt because a seamstress made my shirt, my scout shirt, and she made it wrong. She put the pockets in the wrong spot. And, people laughing at me. And Mr. Clary said, man, don't worry, just wear it. Just wear the shirt. So I was able to wear the shirt. And he should take us to Fort George to give us a test. Well, we used to like to go to Fort George, some of us. And we used to go in what was called the dark hole. The dark hole. Those caves up there. A lot of bats. You used to have a lot of bats running all over the place. Flying, all over the place up there. Bats. And there were a lot of underground tunnels and all this stuff and so on. But I never liked to go to the dark holes. People used to go there. So yes, Mr. Clary took us to Fort George and he gave us a test, a scout's test. We had to pass something called the tenderfoot. Well, the questions were always simple question. The color of the Union Jack, the name of the Queen of England. Well, one was easy to get at that one because she remained the Queen of England for so long, that it was not difficult to know who she was. England had the same queen for a long time. We never got any questions about Leapers Hill or Belmont. And despite that, I must say, we have to be proud of people like Mr. Clary, because he helped put us on the right road to life. We should also be glad back in those days that we had individuals like Corporal Bartholomew and the Police Boys Club and Mr. Ben Roberts. Who remembers Mr. Ben Roberts? Parents used to send their ill-disciplined children. As soon as the parents saw they were on the road to leading them to trouble, they send them to Mr. Ben Roberts to be straightened out. That was a popular word, They straighten them out. Put them back on the road that led to discipline. And they struggled hard to turn children into responsible human beings. And though some of the lessons were hard, boy, hard at Miss Goatee's nigger boy sweetie. Yeah, that was the name, a hard sweetie boy. Miss Goatee on the wharf, Grenada. She made a hard sweetie. They called it the nigger boy sweetie. Well, that was the name, man. I don't like to sugarcoat things. That was the name. But that was a sweetie you could suck for hours and hours and hours, because it ain't melting in your mouth at all. But yes, although the lessons that they taught us were hard as that sweetie, we got to learn why it was not good to bomb tourists. Well, bombing tourists meaning that you're begging the tourists for money. Disrespect our parents. Were you crazy? Disrespect your parents? Well, you're joking. Try that. And it was not good to throw stink mixtures called John in Empire and Reno cinemas. Well, Reno Regal was the same cinema. So yes, just to big them up. And looking back again at that picture of Palmer School. We used to call it Palmer School because the headmaster, all of them got the school. Mother Rose, these schools, the names of these headmasters and headmistresses or principal, they'll say, it stuck long after they expired. Long after they expired, the names remained. You went to Palmer School, you went to Mother Rose School, you went to Heinz School, Mr. Morris School, all these various schools, because the headmasters and the headmistresses, they got the school, the name. But one thing I would say though, discipline ranked high, very high on the scale of things. And we are glad for that. Because a lot of us could have been crooks. But they taught us well. Anthony Wendell DeRiggs. And thanks I. Fletcher for that picture there of the school. That brings back a lot of memories, a lot of fond memories. Palmer School. School that was very, very strong in the game of football, soccer. Boasted some talent like Alistair Telesford and others. Great talent. God bless. God bless. God bless.